Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are y'all? Hello, stranger. Hi, Mandy. Hey, bestie. All right, guys. So we're gonna do Floral Friday. Oops. Hey, my volume's on my computer. Milligan. Okay, so this is a Heidi Swap die, and this is for your memory decks. So really fast, I'm gonna run over to my die cutting machine, and I'm just gonna cut this out of Sweet Sentiment coloring paper. So that's our first step. So, forgive me while I cut this. I should have had it pre-cut, but hey. Okay. So, I've cut it out. Gosh, people keep trying to call me. Hey Karen. You happen to be home today. That's amazing. Michelle. Holly. Hello. I have all the people. I'm so excited. Okay. So, basically, I've had a few people tell me that they're intimidated by the 3D flowers. So what I want to do is I want to share with you a way that you can use these flowers in a way that is less than intimidating. Meg, hello. So we're going to do something a little bit less intimidating for y'all. So I picked the peony because it is in and of itself a really pretty flower just on its own, like just the stamp itself. So what I want to do is pull out my stamp set, and I'm going to grab my Misty. And trying to work in this like little teeny tiny space. So I'm going to stack those up so they're out of my way. Okay. I'm going to take my card and line it up here. And I'm going to take my peony. I love the peony as well. It's very pretty. Now, you can be like all super duper cool and center this, or you can be all artsy and put it off to the side. It's totally up to you, and it also depends on what sentiment you want to use. So, for me, I adore this sentiment. So I want to make sure that I leave room for it, but also I know that what I'm going to do is like I'm going to stamp the sentiment in black, and I'm going to do everything else in like totally different. The peony's your favorite. So I'm just going to set this here. I mean, I suppose I could stamp it in black right now, but I like to do it afterwards so it doesn't get dull. And I'm going to put this just right here. Okay, so I have the placement for that. So now I can see what I want to do with this. And honestly, I think I'm going to go off the bottom, so I'm going to reposition this at the top. Okay, so I think I'm going to take my peony and I'm going to make it like artfully kind of go off the side here like that, or maybe I'll put it coming from the center. I kind of like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take the peony, I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to make sure that my paper is nice and secure. we go. Okay, so this tool is Cottontail Embossing Brush. Hey, Jeanette. And this has a clay powder inside that is anti-static, so it keeps you from getting those weird spots everywhere and when you're embossing. And in this project specifically, this is super duper important. So this is from the Rabbit Hole Designs. We do have an affiliate link with the Rabbit Hole Designs, so if you'd like to use that, that would be amazing. But essentially, you just brush your paper with it. It's anti-static. I like to brush my paper a lot. You don't have to brush it this much. And then when you slide the sheath up and put the cap on and slide it back down, it's now primed and ready to go for the next time you want to use it, which is super duper cool. I have my Versamark ink pad. Y'all know my idiosyncrasies with this. I have to stamp it twice. Maybe it's an OCD. I'm not real sure what it is, but either way, it's gonna happen. I have my espresso tool, and I just stamp this nice even pressure. Open that up. Again. I know, I totally overdo it. It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. Everybody's fine. Okay. So then I'm going to go like that. Okay. Now I'm good to go. What I have here is I have Wow embossing powder, and this is the clear matte embossing powder. Whatever you want to use, it's totally up to you. Some sort of clear embossing powder. You can use white, you can use black. The point is that you do not want to touch anywhere on the card, because that will ruin what you just did with the anti-static. Thank you. Yes, I have Versamark disorder. Thank you, Michelle, for that one. So I'm going to put the clear embossing powder on this. Now, clear embossing powder on white paper, obviously you're not going to see it. Also, I put a ton of embossing powder on that. I always tap the paper so it can settle in. And then, okay. Beautiful, right? Can you guys see that at all? A little bit? Okay. So I'm going to set that here. I'm going to use this to pour all this back in here. Candy cups are thebomb.com. Okay. Set that aside. I will clean this later. And I just realized that my embossing gun is not plugged in. So hold please for just a moment while I plug this bad boy in. I'm ill prepared. Okay, so now that my embossing gun is plugged in, do you sell those powder things? I do not, but they, are you talking about this? This is from the Rabbit Hole Designs, and we do have an affiliate link for them. So with your embossing gun, it's really important that you heat it up. Excuse me, that you heat it up first. Yes, we do sell candy cups. We just happen to be out of them right now. So I'm heating up my embossing gun. And now that it's warm, I'm just gonna hold the edge. I mean, if you're super sensitive to heat, you can use your tweezers. And you're just gonna emboss the holy living heck out of this. I always flip my embossing over and do the back as well. All right. So, phase 1 complete. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is I have chosen to do pink today. I do not know what possessed me to do pink today, but here we go. Michelle, I'm not at the moment because I only had a couple of people that were coming over there, and so all the people that told me that they wanted me to do YouTube lives never showed up. So we're back on Facebook. So yeah, that's where that's at with that. So I'm going to start with Spun Sugar, which is my lightest. These are the Cottontail or bunny blending brushes. I don't know, can't remember what they're called. Bunny blending brushes, I believe. So usually what I do is I have a tissue at the ready because I don't want to leave fingerprints on this. And I like to do not a perfectly straight line, so I kind of do a curved line. I'm going to start really light. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear my 3D printer. I'm in the middle of printing something, so there you go. If it bugs you, I apologize. I love making memory decks cards. They're just really, really fun for me to make. And I'll show you my memory decks here in a moment. I have one that's all decorated and cute, and then I have one that I like put my cards in for pictures. So I have a few memory decks. They happen to all be in my not so super cute one right now because I was taking photographs. But that's okay. When I take photographs of memory decks cards, I put them in the super plain one so that it doesn't distract from the card. Okay. And then I just kind of like to do a little bit of overlap with these so it really blends the colors together and you really get that gradient. Okay, so now I have this pretty soft gradient. Move those off to the side. And what I'm gonna do is my distress sprayer, wherever I put it. Oops, sorry, hit the camera. What I'm gonna do is if you pull the trigger on this totally, you get a super fine mist. But if you like short pull it, you get bigger droplets. So I'm gonna do some short pulls because I want some bigger droplets. And then I'm just gonna let that sit and interact for a second. I personally don't have memory decks dies yet. So Sandy and I are kind of working on them. Sandy's the one that designs most of our dies. And so we're kind of working on them. They're a little bit back burner right now because we're getting ready for Expo and trying to get all of our make and take dies and all of that kind of stuff done. But there will be in the future a sort of memory decks die from us. So then after that's had a couple of seconds to react, I put my tissue over the top of it and I just blot it. Okay. Now, I also, since I have this tissue handy, I'm going to kind of wipe off everywhere where I have that flower. And then see how it brings those lines up? Expo is back, kind of. Pleasanton's in like 2 months, but we have to have all of our projects and everything together and ready. So, way, way, way ahead of time. So, there's that. Okay, so then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. So, since I didn't clean that off to begin with, I'm going to grab my stamp chamois. I have well-worn stamp chamois, and then I just use this and I spray it, wipe this off, and then I use the dry side to dry it. Peel that off, and then I line it back up. That's not the right way, it's this way. Okay. Now, since I know this is going to be at the top, I'm going to put this at the bottom. And you just want to make sure that you're super lined up, so just in case something happens, you can come back and fix it. Okay. Let's not do this upside down, because that too would be a tragedy. Okay, so we're gonna center this. It's really hard to make it straight when your magnet's not straight, because then you're like, what am I doing with my life? Okay, so I'm centered-ish. It's straight-ish. Okay. Now, when I'm using things that are all water reactive and stuff, I go for my Archival ink. So this is black soot. I have multiple colors. I might actually want to do one of the brown colors. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah. So this one's Vintage Photo. Could have swore I had one more that was slightly, there we go, ground espresso. Okay. So here's my ground espresso Archival ink. The reason why I generally, we made our own Milligan. So send me a DM and I will explain to you how to make it, or you might be able to persuade me to make you something. Anyways, this is ground espresso. The reason I don't generally like to use Archival ink is because it does stain your stamps. And I'm not a fan of staining my stamps. But when I use things in conjunction with water, or anything like that, I do like to use Archival ink because I want my project to still come out pretty and not fade or interact with the water. So that's why I just have the little ones of these. And I'll probably stamp it twice because I like it to be nice and vibrant. So again, with my espresso, I'm not putting much pressure on the espresso. I'm just using it to put even pressure on. Okay. And again, since we're on top of oxide ink, I'm going to do it twice. So the reason we have the espressos is photopolymer and rubber is soft. So if you were to go like this and push, however you're doing it, these will flex and you'll get like blurry lines. They won't be super crisp. The other thing is your MISTI is made out of plastic. And so if you start pushing on the center of it where most of your stuff is going to end up, eventually you're going to crack it right here. The other thing is this is hard on your wrists and your hands and all kinds of stuff. So by using the espresso, you can hold it like this, like this, like this. I mean, any way you want. If you're left-handed, if you're right-handed, whatever you need to do to make that work for you. So it's very ergonomic. It's very lightweight. It's got this nice felt on it. And so nice, even pressure gives you nice, even stamp lines. And you are able to get perfect, crispy stamp lines from the get-go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this off. Cleaning it right away gives you minimal staining, but since I sat and talked about the espresso, this is going to forever be brown. I know there's other things you can clean your stamp with, and that's fine. Yeah, I do too, Sandy. That's why I said to DM me. It's a project that we make, and if you actually look back in the videos, Milligan, I made one for Sandy on a live. So maybe I'll try to find that later and tag you in it. But they're super fun to make, and that's why I wanted you to DM me so I could tell you about the project and you could see it and then make it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back. I've never even cut my dies apart for this. How funny is that? Sorry, I gotta go. I'll catch the replay. Hey, big sister. Okay, so then with this, what I like to do is I like to take my vintage photo ink. I have a smaller brush, and I like to distress around the outside. Just softly. For some reason, I don't like unfinished edges. And since this particular die, this is a Heidi Swap die. She's the one who originally came up with the memory decks, which is pure genius, I think, because people had Rolodexes hanging out that they weren't using. So it was a great way to put those back in use. So anyways, since this die has kind of a beveled edge, I like to do stuff to bring that forward. And so this ink kind of sits in that edge and just adds more dimension to it. Again, since I went over where I embossed, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off so it's nice and bright white. Okay. Now, the other thing you guys know about me is I like to embellish. So there's a lot of embellishment opportunities on this. For this particular card, I want it to remain like kind of plain and simple. So, I know, right? So, what I'm going to do is pull out my amazing stash of enamel dots. Now, I have a ton of enamel dots because these are all in the shop. And, yes, these work on a total, like, old school Rolodex, for sure. That's exactly what they are. That's why it's a memory dex, because it's from the old school Rolodex scenario. So, yeah. So anyways, I have lots of enamel dots because Sandy and I are addicted to these, and that's why they're in our shop. So I'm going to go through and look, see if I can find something. Oh, these ones are called Rose. And we do have these in the shop right now. But when I saw that, I was like, come on now, that's absolutely perfect, right? Is that not like the most perfect colors to put in that? Yeah, Holly does have a pink one. She's not wrong. Okay, so when I put enamel dots on, I like to use my Barely Art glue. It's just a thing for me. So I'm gonna put a couple up here. I'm going to put them right here, and I'm going to put them down here. I do have a theory around card making and placement and all of that stuff, so if you want to know my theory, you can send me a DM. You can, Holly. So I like to mix them up. So we're going to put a big one here. Oops. And I'm going to put a little one right next to it. I feel like I need an extra color of pink. I mean, I suppose I could go with the green, or I could go with a soft, let me do this soft, like vintagey brown. Yeah, I think that works for sure. This one was from the Daffodil set. I believe we're sold out of that one, so sorry. And there we go. So now I have this fun little card that I can toss into my memory decks, and it just makes me super duper happy. Yes, you made me one, Sandy. I have a special decorated one, but I'm going to show you my one that I have sitting over here for pictures. And this is my undecorated one. So these are made out of balsa wood, and the reason I have an undecorated one, number one, is so that I can have it sitting there for pictures, and since it's undecorated, it really shows off the card itself. The other reason I have an undecorated one is over time when your bestie colors and she accidentally colors on it with orange, you have an orange stripe on it. But as you touch this and you get oils on it and stuff, it will naturally eventually absorb inks and different things that are on your hands, your finger oils and all that kind of stuff, and it will kind of look aged and worn in and of itself. So every once in a while I'll come in and I'll make sure, like if I have stuff on my hands, I will, you know, do different things, touch it, you know, whatever, just so that I can be sure that it goes all vintagey. So that's what I do. This is the one that is personal for me, and I used the little tabs, and I made little tabs of like things I wanted to put out in the world. So this is abundance, because she has an abundance of flowers. This is appreciate, for things I appreciate. Balance, because, you know, we all need balance. This is beauty, creativity. And so I put different memory decks cards in here for different things. It says try something new. Freedom is mountains that I did. You guys saw me make that, so that's under my freedom tab. This one was made for me by Melissa Oders, so that's in the freedom tab. Grateful, this is one that I also made, and this is, you know, just friends together. Health, I figured being at the beach. And then I did make this on a live as well. I used a playing card, and this is from Man Plans, and did a whole bunch of stuff on that. Joy, because he is looking super duper grumpy, so I thought he would be funny as the joy one. This is loved, and you smile, I smile, that's how it works. This was also made by Melissa Oders. Thought it was adorable and worked really well under that tab. This is prosperity, so I did all like metal tones. Self-love, which of course has coffee on it, and then of course a big thing of coffee. Get out of my swamp, because sometimes I need my alone time. Melissa made this one as well. Success, which of course has little sweet sentiment things. My big flower that I made, I really love this one. And the saying is, sometimes life is about risking everything for a dream no one can see but you. And so that of course goes under my success tab. Value, worthy, and then this is our sweet little dodo. You guys made me color him in rainbow, so that's why he's on there. And it says, I am worthy and deserving of prosperity and abundance. And then these cool little markers were made for me by Becky Roberts. So I actually use them in my coloring one, where I have all of my color cards. So this one will probably go under balance, because a decision hurts doesn't mean it's the wrong decision. I think that's a great one for balance. And so it will get filed there. And there you go. There's the reason we have a memory decks. So I also have a memory decks, like I said, that is all about coloring. And it has color cards in it. It's kind of rough right now because I took it to a couple of shows, and so it got kind of beat up, but it has color cards in it. And that's what these are for. If you happen to take a color card out, then you can mark the place where you took it out, so that you know where to put it back in. So that's why these are there. and they should be on this one, but you can tell I moved them around. So there you go. Such a fun idea. So anyways, and if you guys want to do a Memory Decks card swap sometime, let me know, and I would be more than willing to host a Memory Decks card. However, excuse me, Sandy just posted the ATC swaps. So if you would like to be part of this ATC swap for January/February, I highly recommend it. They are so fun. I love our ATC swaps. Let's see the decorated one. Where did I set it? I put it in, where the heck is it? Oh, here it is, right here. I put it in, so let me take, the reason you guys can't see it or couldn't see it is because I have stuff in there that you guys can't see yet. It's where I put my stuff that needs to be colored. And so, yeah. So I had to dump it out real fast. So Sandy made me this at our retreat, and it says friend, and she made the friend purple and teal. And then it uses some of our favorite Doodlebug paper. It's so, so cute. Super cute. She even made the box teal. So fun. So now everything that I dumped out of it, I have to put right back in it. But yeah, so see, they all work. So I can take this out of here, and I can put it in here, and you're good to go. And this is simply made out of dowels that I bought at Walmart. I think these are 3/16. Yep, 3/16 inch dowels. And then these little boxes you can get at the dollar store. And then this is just Doodlebug paper. Or you can use distress inks or anything else that you want to decorate it with. But I do have a video where I decorated them. So if you want to go find that video, you certainly can. So anyways, where did I put this balance? That's where I put it. So I'm probably going to move all of these over to here, and then I'll use this one just for photos. But I love once they get all full and pretty, and then obviously if we start doing swaps, then I'll have one just for swaps. Right, Michelle? You can go to the retreat and learn how to make them. So anyways, guys, that's everything for today. I wanted to keep it short and sweet for y'all because I know you're busy and it's Friday. And Sandy, I bought this very special purple ribbon so I could put it on stuff. Anyways, thank you for joining me. I super appreciate it. I will see you guys this weekend as I have a couple of projects up my sleeve for y'all. And have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. I got a brand new coffee mug in the mail today, so I am going to go make a cup of coffee to break that bad boy in. So, thank you all for joining me. Toodles!